Hi, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Angel Smith.
Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, Urban Gresham.
How long have you lived in Chicago?
I lived in Chicago for I would say about 10 years. When I was little, I lived in Aurora, in Iowa, from the age of 1 to the age of 6.
So, what role do you play in your community?
The role I play in my community is a working student. Like in my old community, because I just recently moved. In my old community, like everybody knew me and I was very known. So like I would just walk around, and if I see some kids, I would play with them. I have a little brother, so I would take everybody to the park. We would just go have fun. Like that's what I would say.
So, when you think of a community, what comes to mind? What is your definition of a community?
I would say people you surround yourself with every day, or like in your neighborhood. So like my neighborhood, we have like barbecues and cookouts often. So like things like that, like going to the park with your friends or family, like going there now, like block parties, cookouts, and all different types of things like that.
Okay. How have you been impacted by your community?
I have a dramatic impact by my community because, like, I wouldn't say gangbangers, but people that sell, like, they are stereotyped, like they put as so violent and disrespectful to the community, but like if you really get to know them and know their families, they're really not. I I grew up with them, so like as they got older, they started to protect me. Like I would go outside, they would be like, "Oh, where are you going? Make sure you call your mom before you get in the house, or call me when you get off the bus. I can walk you home." Like they're very protective, even though they do sell drugs. Like they sell it for their families. If you knew the struggle they went through, you would understand. Like, oh, okay, you even though you do this, you're hustling to support your family. So not all people are violent as the media shows them.
So, they have a good cause. It's just the way that they go through to
It's
get.
just the way they proceed. People perceive them as like not all drug dealers are violent. They just do it to make money for their families.
Okay. How would your life be different if you lived in a different city or town?
Well, considering I did live in a different city, I would say that I wouldn't be changed as much, but I would have a different perspective on Chicago because like I lived outside of Chicago for like 5 to 6 years, and I was like, oh, it's so violent over there. Like, Mom, do we have to move back home? And then once I got here, and I was just sitting there like, it's not even that bad. People perceive it like so badly. But once you live here and sit here and really think and get to know the people in your community, your mindset changed completely.
Okay. So, do you think, since you said a lot of people perceive Chicago to be violent and bad, obviously you think that's unfair.
Yes.
What would you do to change that?
What would I do? Well, I would show Chicago, like, yes, I would show the bad things that people go through, but at the same time, I would show y'all more like us graduating, us doing barbecues, us having fun. Like, only thing the media shows is like the bad stuff. And like, yes, it's bad everywhere in the world, but like Chicago puts on blast for it because I think our violence rate are increasing. But like it's only in certain neighborhoods. Like we have multiple neighborhoods in Chicago, so it's only certain places, and that needs to change.
Okay. So, all cities deal with violence. So, how do you think the issue of violence in Chicago compares to other cities?
Okay, so like Florida, California, all types of places have different types of violence, like sexual violence or against gays or marriage or anything like that. Ours is more towards black on black shootings or like murders and stuff like that. So like I would say like in different cities is like it's not posted as much as Chicago's violence. Like Chicago's violence get put on blast every day. Like the news make us seem so terrible as black people or like as our community as a whole. but like other cities, like they don't get put on blast. So I feel like if other cities will be put like how we are perceived as a city, then I would think it wouldn't be as bad as everybody make it seems.
Okay. So what are top 3 issues, concerns, or anything that you would like to address with your community?
Okay, one, the littering problem, like in our city, like, but it's only on certain parts. Like if you go up to north, you don't see any of that because people, not the government, the governor makes sure like, oh, if up north it has to be clean, it has to be proceeded well for tourists and stuff. But if you come out south, it's like really trashy. Like they don't come out as often. We have a lot of potholes, and we have like way more liquor stores than any other like part of Chicago. So like I will say, if we take less liquor stores, better potholes, and clean up our community more often, then that would be great. That's 3 problems that I will have. Yeah.
So do you think...
And oh wait, 1 second. And the education in schools, like our government set a certain standard for students to graduate, and they lowering it lower and lower every year, and making it very easier for children to get into certain schools. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the same time, like, why are you lowering us so far low? Like we can do, how can I explain this? We can reach any level of success if you put us at a lower position, then we're going to just say, oh, if I only get to that position, I'm good. But if you set us as a higher one, we want to work even harder to get there. So that's why I say, like, if you change our curriculum, I think it will be better for our communities.
Okay.
We have a higher success rate.
Okay. If you were in charge of the media, what would you show?
I think I kind of answered this.
You did.
But I would show the good things and the bad. Not just all the good things Chicago has to offer, but also the bad things. Like to show you, okay, we're not perfect, but we do have some good aspects as a Black community. Don't just show us Black on Black crime. Show us how we can get on the bus with each other and be so civil and just start a conversation out of nowhere. Like one day I was on a bus with a man, like he didn't look wealthy. I was like, so that's why you shouldn't judge a book by cover. Like I sat by him, we sat there, we was going in the same direction, and I just started a conversation with him. And little did I know, he has 2 daughters that are in college. He graduated college. He has a wealthy, like he's very wealthy, has a good job. It's just like he doesn't, he said he doesn't feel like to show his wealth. He rather talk to people, introduce them to other things, and show how wealthy he is. So that's why I would say, like, don't show like all the violence. Show people like communication with each other. Like we're more than just violence in Chicago.
Okay. How do you see Chicago in the future?
I mean, at the rate we're growing, we're building as a community. Like you see more activists coming in out of every corner. So like I would say we're leveling up. Like we're gonna be a better city by the end of in a couple of years. We'll be a better city. I promise you we will.
Okay. Are there any questions that I didn't ask that you would like for me to ask?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I would like to say, like, if we had more activists, like we have some, like if we had more people in the community that would like get more involved, then I think Chicago would be better. Like I've met so many activists, so many people that like want to do stuff for our community. But if we had even more, I think it would be better for our children. Like I know that we have a lot of programs after school, but if we just keep pushing people to go to after school programs and go to different activities instead of just going home, then seeing violence in their home. Like instead of doing that, you can go to an activity after school, and I think that will push kids to do better in life. Like not just activities after school, but like things that will show them like it's more than just doing like violence outside of your home. Like it's more than just going one place and only seeing one thing. Like if you take them on more field trips out of town, not just in Chicago, out of town, and they gonna be like, okay, I don't just have to stay in this one place. I can venture out of my city and go succeed in another place, come back home and be like, look, I did this, y'all can do it too. Like push other people to do other things. Chicago, you don't have to stay in Chicago your whole life in order to succeed. Like you can leave, come back, and then show your people what you did and put them on to something that they never knew before. So yeah.
That was very insightful. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.